Is going on, everyone? We are live post-match after the Wolves game. A disappointing draw. I'm here with Brian Daigle, who's back from the stadium yesterday to talk about what happened yesterday in that poor kind of result, poor performance against Wolves. Bottom of the league Wolves, pointless Wolves coming to the Tottenham Stadium and getting a point. Big up to everyone in the chat at the moment. Says, I don't know who that is, but it just says, stop whining. Tottenham have always been shit. That's from a Korean.
Okay.
Adam Tarek says, how is Ben Sim? Or it's Brian in the studio. Ben was actually at the game yesterday.
Yep.
Brian was at the game yesterday as well. We need a left winger, Savinho, and a top striker like Mateta. I bet if we had Mateta, we'd say, we need a top striker like this one. It's always the case when your striker didn't score in the game before. But Brian.
Yes.
Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you much very much, brother.
Into the Tottenham Stadium. Your first time. So how many years has it been since you went to the stadium?
The last game I went to the Hotspur Stadium, White Lane, was with you guys. Remember after the 6-1 to Newcastle, we drew 2-2 with Manchester United?
Yes. I
was at that game with you. I walked down the 61st minute.
So that is April 23?
Yeah.
So since April 2023, you've not set foot in the Tottenham Stadium?
Yep. I said I wouldn't go in until someone had gone. He'd gone. Boycott over. It was great to be back in the stadium.
You've been around, though.
I've been around. I've been watching games in the coaching horses. I've been protesting. It just felt so surreal going into the ground. Mm-hmm. And then obviously I've sat in the seats where you sit before, so it was just so good to be back in there.
Did you get a lot of comments about coming back into the stadium?
Yeah. Not so much in the stadium, but outside and in the pubs.
Well, people were like, "What, you going in?"
Yeah. They're like, "Brian, you're going in now?" And I was like, "Oh hell yeah!" I went in, but I'm taking one for the team now. I'm never watching a Wolves match live again.
When was the last time you watched a Wolves match live?
Last season, the 4-2. I went away. I went with Ben.
Yeah.
The last Wolves game
Ben said Romero should never wear the captain's armband again.
Yep. Then the last home Wolves game I went to is, do you remember when Conte was in charge and we had that shambolic first half when we went 2-0 down and he made first half substitutions?
Yeah.
That was my last Wolves game in the stadium, and I won't go to Wolverhampton away and I won't go Wolves home.
Nick in the chat. Big up to Nick, Barry, Sean. He is saying, let me get it up. Nick is saying, it's Daigle's fault. He was there when we lost 2-0, and then again yesterday, it's his fault.
Yep, it's my fault, yeah. But mate, do you know what it is? I think
Nick's one of your good friends, and he's blaming you.
Well, that's what Nick does. He likes to throw people under the bus for a reaction. He ain't getting one. He ain't getting one. What I will say is that you got to look at this now. I said to Ben yesterday, and I said to you before we started the stream, us to Wolves is like Man City to us. It doesn't matter what happens, they just have a knack of getting or not losing to us. Mm-hmm. There's just something going on that we struggle with Wolves. We struggle with many managers with him. Pochettino lost a few times to him. Jose did.
Jose. Yeah, I remember he lost at home 3-2.
Yeah, when we're 2-0 up.
When Ndombele, that famous video where he's not running back.
Exactly. It's the one where Aurier scored a great goal.
Aurier
scored a great goal in that 3-2.
Yeah. Mourinho struggled against them.
It's a
Nuno beat them. When we Nuno.
Exactly. Nuno got the job done against his old team. It's weird how this happens with certain teams, isn't it? A boat, you just can't get the job done. And the other thing I take from it is it is a Spurs thing. Whenever the results fall in our favour, and it's like, right, you win this game, you can make a serious indent into what you're trying to achieve. Mentally, we just capitulate, don't we? We just cannot get that. You remember when we were going up against Leicester, when any time a game has come where there's a bit of momentum building and get that result and other teams that have dropped points around you, you can seriously make a dent. We just can't get that job done. Yeah,
and that was obviously a frustrating thing. Look, it's only 6 games in, so we're talking about opportunities to do this and that.
Early.
You know, there's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of drop points from a lot of teams throughout the season. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. I know drawing at home to Wolves is frustrating, and we're all sitting here annoyed and not happy with the result. I do think obviously it's more the performance than the result. I think we're all probably sitting here not happy with, because that second half was really a shambles. And I do think there seems to be a trend, because you look at so we've played 6 games now. So 2 games, 3 at home, 3 away.
Burnley,
Bournemouth, Wolves, away, and away from home has been City, West Ham and Brighton. And our performances away from home
have been very good.
Been far better than our performances at home. At home, Burnley, we won 3-0, but let's be honest, we weren't overly impressive. I think deserved a win, but I think 3-0 probably flattered us a bit. You know, a bit of individual magic from Richarlison.
And Kudus,
and Kudus, and got us a win. But it's not like we battered them. I mean, we deserved the win. Not saying the win wasn't, deserved, but we got 3 points. Like, it was just like, I would say it was probably more of a 1 or 2-0 than a 3-0. I think for 3-0 probably flattered us a bit. Bournemouth for home, shambles. This game, first half pretty good. Frank said in his post-match interview, first half he would have given a 7 out of 10. Second half, wouldn't. He didn't even give a mark.
Damn right.
He said, first half 7 out of 10. Second half wasn't. That's what he said. So it was a shambles. But you look at our away games, Man City, very good performance. West Ham, pretty decent, especially after they went down to 10 men. Obviously, we dominated, deserved the win, albeit wasn't like the best performance, but we deserved the win, and it was a good game. And Brighton, yes, we drew 2-2, but I thought we played quite well in that game. Even in the first half, when we were 2-0 down, we probably shouldn't deserve to be, given how we played good football, and then second half we were brilliant and got back to 2-2. So, do you think maybe there's a narrative, like there's a case we had? The way Frank is setting us up at the moment and the way we're playing, maybe it's just a bit more suited to going away from home and playing against teams who are more trying to attack us and more coming onto us, rather than at home where teams are more naturally sitting off us and more naturally giving us a bit more of the ball or asking different questions of us, and we're not quite kind of adjusting to that at the moment.
So, I mean, first of all, when you're saying about the performances, like I said, winning is winning. I know what you're saying, though. You want to have better performances.
Winning more away.
But getting the jobs done. But what I find strange is, obviously, like I said, West Ham went down to 10 men, but he certainly said something before the sending off and came out in the second half a much better team. Brighton did the same again. I know these are both away games, but it was like yesterday, like he said, a 7 for the first half and not a 7 for the second half. Whatever he said in the team talk, there was just no reaction, was there? In fact, there was a reaction. It was the exact opposite way. They came out and didn't have a clue what to do, and then Wolves got the upper hand.
I think there's more. Wolves made a double change, change their formation, change their shape, and we didn't respond to that.
No, you're right. On this, you're right. I mean, Frank has got it wrong this game. He has got it, or second half, should I say. Second half has got it wrong. There's a lot to say about the players, but we'll discuss that with the player ratings. There's certain things. I mean, we have a huge problem with our front line. And Richarlison, bless him, as good as he can be, it needs to be when he's getting regular service in the box, like Burnley. But because of the injuries to Solanke and now to Muani with this dead leg, however long he's out for, we just keep playing him there.
Can't rotate him.
And if he's got no service, he doesn't offer a lot for the team.
Could you play Scarlett? Or come on? Could Scarlett come on?
I'm going to chuck a curveball out. I wouldn't mind seeing Johnson play up front. Give Richarlison or in the second half and said, right, we're not getting any joy with Richarlison and his style of play. Let's try and use Johnson's pace, because we know if he gets a chance on goal, he's clinical, just to give him a rest and give Spurs something different. But we brought him on and put it on the right. We need Solanke back and we need Muani back quickly, because we were bereft of ideas. And if you're not getting the ball and giving him the service, he really offered little yesterday.
But you can blame our attack, and I know you're not blaming them, but you can point to our attack saying there's a lack of whatever is needed in variation. I think if we can agree, we probably need a bit more there. But I don't know if that was the problem yesterday. I think it was more about structurally. I think more tactically, Wolves had the upper hand in that second half. That was the problem. And I think, obviously, we talk about that first half. He had numerous chances. Kudus was phenomenal in that first half. They couldn't get near him. That was one of his best performances, I thought, in that first half. The second half was one of his worst. It seemed as though we were getting lots of joy from them in that in that first half. Basically, it seemed as though the aim of the game in that first half was just get this Kudus as quickly as possible and let him do the damage. And he was doing damage. What I liked about Kudus' performance in that first half was he wasn't just being his man. He was actually adding quality at the end of it. He was having shots on target. He had that goal ruled out, which was a brilliant move. Unfortunately, it was offside. He was actually picking people out of his crosses. His crossing was really good. He had the header onto the bar too. He was making those runs off the ball as well. He was brilliant. But I think they noticed that apart from Kudus, we're actually not doing too much else. But it was just, we were so focused on Kudus. He was getting so much of the ball in that first half. It gave the impression that, and it's not the impression we were creating lots of chances and we were creating lots of moments, and we probably should have been in the lead, 1 or 2 up.
Yeah.
But when you look back at that first half, it pretty much was all Kudus.
Yeah, I mean, Simmons did bits and pieces, his corners, and he was trying to get bits. But if you had to say the most creative player in the first half, it was him and probably Lucas. Bergvall was
doing all right. They didn't come together. But I think a lot of it was down to Kudus.
100%. I will tell you, it's the first time I've just seen Kudus live. His first touch,
brilliant,
is absolutely sublime. Like, he just brings... It's like Berbatov-esque, with the way he just brings balls down under control with his first touch. He looked electric at times. He's got so much power. And do you know what he was doing as well? He was doing his defensive duties as well in that first half. He was tracking back a lot more. He was a handful in the first half. He really was.
Yeah, but the thing is, we had all those chances in the first half. We had them on the ropes, it felt like, especially for the last 20 minutes, because I felt they started okay, Wolves, but once we took control of the game, we had control. We had them where we wanted them. We had them penned in. We were getting the joy we needed to. But in these kind of games, here's the problem when you have a first half like we did, when you're dominant but you don't put your chances away. You go into half time, and because this has happened a few times, I remember, under Ange and other managers, the problem you have in that situation is because things are going well for you, you're not going to change anything because although you're not in the lead, it's hard for you to preemptively change something that's working. Why would you change something that's working, right? Because things are going well, you're creating chances. If you were to go into half-time, you would think it's only a matter of time before we score. But then what happens is the opposition change it at half-time, and then they change their formation or change their approach or change something. You know, Pereira makes a double substitution, he changes the formation, goes to a back three. And because things have gone well, you're not changing anything. So all of a sudden, you're now reacting to them changing, and you're kind of susceptible to potentially them getting the upper hand because you haven't taken the lead, you haven't put any of your chances away, and now they're changing something tactically because things are going wrong for them, and all of a sudden, you have to then react to that. So yes, it's not necessarily guaranteed they're going to get the upper hand, but you're vulnerable to that now because they know that you're going to approach that second half, or at least the beginning of the second half. You're going to approach it in the same way that you did the first half. So that's a very, very difficult position to be in. And because we were left in that position at half time, what happened was they changed it and we didn't react well to it, or we tried to react to it, but we didn't react quick enough, and all of a sudden they got the tactical upper hand and we couldn't respond quick enough. They get the goal and all of a sudden they're in the lead and we're really struggling to kind of get back in the game. We're tiring, they've got fresh legs on. The way we changed it, the tactics, all the changes Frank made didn't quite work. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a position 1-0 down, going to latter stages, and it was a bit of a mishmash that whole second half. And that is the problem you find yourself in when you have a first half like we did and you don't put away your chances. And I think obviously if one of those goes in, I think it's a different game.
Yeah, I am surprised Frank didn't react quicker, if I'm honest, because It's one of the things that exactly. But like you said, he probably saw it and thought, like you said, why are you going to change something that's working? And probably gave it a bit of time to see if he could figure it out. But the longer and longer it went on, it could see that it wasn't. And at one point, which I won't put Frank, we just couldn't even string passes together. He can make the tactics, which I think he's got wrong in the second half, but some of the passing was so ridiculous, was so poor and so sloppy. But no, listen, like I said, Frank has got this part wrong, but we kept trying and trying and trying, and Wolves kept finding the answer. And at one point, they looked like they had as much time on the ball as they needed.
That was the thing. The going to our back three really helped them just get sustained possession, and it helped them. It gave them an extra defender. It also meant the wide areas weren't as exposed, and it just meant Tottenham's pressing wasn't as effective. And all of a sudden, Wolves seemed to be a lot more comfortable in the game, just so much more comfortable. Wasn't necessarily a matter change really to cause us more problems going forward, because I don't think they really did. I mean, they got the goal, which was obviously a poor moment from us. But apart from that, they didn't do too much going forward. It was more just about frustrating us. And that's exactly what it did.
They just literally sat back on themselves. Even in the first half, Sim, they created nothing, apart from that one thing for Doherty at the end, where he could have taken the opportunity better. They were left to long shots, wild long shots that were going aimlessly wide or over. And that's what's been happening a lot in these games. We are limiting the kind of chances we're creating, but they took that lead, and then, like you said, all they wanted to do is sit back, try and counter, and we had no answers. I mean, we got to look at Simmons needs to just start in the 10 now. He needs to start in the 10. He's isolated on that.
It was interesting, though, because Frank was asked about that in his press conference, and he said, he said, obviously I'm going to look over things and I'm going to analyse what happened and the performance and everything. But he said right now when I'm thinking, obviously when I picked the lineup, I picked it for a reason at the time. And when you look at how the game went, first half we had obviously Rodrigo and Palinia in the middle, and obviously we were dominating and things were going well and we were creating chances. And then second half, obviously we go 1-0 down, and then he changes it. He puts Bergvall in the 8 and Simmons in the 10, and it didn't go right. And so he was saying, look at that. Based off that, you never really know if I would have started with that, would it have gone right or not, or will it have? You can't. It's hard, you can't play hindsight sometimes with these things. But what I would say is, in that first half, Wolves were playing with a back four. If we were getting lots of joy, obviously getting it to Kudus, and we were penning them in. But if we would have had that little bit more creativity in the middle, instead of just always focusing it down the right, would we have created more chances than we did? And would it have given us more of a chance to take the lead? Yes, we did well in that first half in terms of dominating and creating chances. But at the end of the day, we created chances, but it wasn't like tons. It was like, 3 or 4. But if we would have played Bergvall a bit deeper, Simmons in the 10, and had them in those positions when they were fresher, instead of when they were tiring a bit in the second half, and it was a bit more difficult at that point, would we have taken them to the sword a bit more? And could it have been 7 or 8 chances rather than 3 or 4? You know what I mean? And if we could have done that, I think all of a sudden there's a much better chance of us going into half-time 1-0 up rather than 0-0, or 2-0 up rather than the 0-0 that we were. That's what I think. But I understand what Frank is saying, because I was calling for, look, get Simmons in the 10, get Bergvall in the 8, and he did it, and it didn't work. It didn't work when he did it, and we were, in fact, far worse. And as Frank said, we lost structure. So do you think he has a point?
I think there's a case in point for both. But then you look at it as well, I think then it branches out to another issue, which was Palinia and Bentancur the right midfield partnership for a game where we should be attacking, as opposed to being... I understand he did this against Man City and it worked incredibly well. I'm sure he'll use that midfield too for the filth, for Chelsea, for Liverpool. I'm sure that's the midfield partnership, and I completely get it, but I think at home, when you want to attack this team, you only need one of them, and that one's Palinia, because that man is just incredible. And I think that's an issue. I think him having those two for this type of game may have been the wrong call, and because he had those two, he felt he had to put Simmons on the left. So has this conundrum with where Simmons play now having an impact on whether Palinia and Bentancur start? Because we saw it against when Palinia, it was, who was it? It was Bentancur, Sarr and Simmons against Doncaster, wasn't it? No, Bentancur, Bergvall.
No, not Bergvall. It was Bentancur, Gray.
That's right. Sorry, Archie Gray, who I said was brilliant.
Yeah.
I've forgotten him. It worked better. I think that worked. Obviously, it was a lesser opposition. So we're going to have to wait and see. I mean, like we said, I completely have 100 million% faith Frank will get it right. I'm sure there will be a time when Simmons can play completely central, as in that's where you are playing for Tottenham Hotspur. But right now, when he's looking at the options he's got there, does he see Simmons as the better option than all of them? And you'd have to say he probably is, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think the problem at the moment is none of the left wingers are playing well. Tell, Odegaard, Johnson. He doesn't really feel like any of them are doing amazingly, put it that way. And then you've got all our midfielders who we've been saying are playing very, very well at the moment.
Yep.
So he's kind of making the decision, I'm going to leave out the left winger, put Xavi there because he can play in that position. And I can't justify leaving out Bergvall. I can't justify leaving out Bentancur. I can't justify leaving out Palinia. He might have. I think he's feeling that at the moment because they're all in form. All the midfielders are in form.
Good point.
And the wingers are not. But is that the right balance for the team? I don't know. Look, but what do you think about what he said? He said he did make that change and it didn't work.
Also remember, Simmons was on a yellow card.
Yeah.
They were 1-0 up, so they were just sitting back, which maybe would have given Simmons more reason to get the ball and try and break stuff down. I think I can see where he's coming from. I really can. But I'm kind of with you. I think he should have started that way and then maybe changed it the other way around. But
I think it didn't work because of the tactical switch Wolves made, which made it a lot more difficult for them. If he would have done it in the first half when Wolves were on the back foot and they had that four at the back, and it wasn't working, we had all those advantages. If we would have had it then, I think we wouldn't have seen the difficulties we saw in that second half. That when we did make the switch, that's what happened. In my opinion. So he made it too late. He also put Kudus on the left in that second half when he was getting so much joy on the right. I understand he probably wasn't getting as much joy on the right at the beginning of that second half, but when you make that change, for me, I don't know. I think linking up Kudus and Udogie, both players who like to go down the line, right? Who like to take people on. When they're both on the left, they both like to go on the outside. So there's not much link play. In fact, when they tried to link up, it failed miserably between the two. So I thought tactically, putting those two together on the left didn't make too much sense to me.
The only reason I can think that was done is because he felt that Kudus probably could have more of an impact on the left than Johnson would have. Because we've seen Johnson on the left hasn't been, apart from getting the goals, unquestionably he's turned up and banged the goals in the first two games of the season. But we saw against Doncaster that he's a lot more comfortable and more suited on the right. And maybe thought I can get Johnson to become more effective and get the best out of him on the right whilst using Kudus on the left, who can do a job there. So that's the only thing I can think of, in all honesty, with why that was done, because Johnson on the left really has been ineffective apart from turning up at those, what was it, first two games of the season.
And he hasn't started a game since then.
Hasn't started a game because left wing we've had Simmons, obviously. It's strange, but he tried to change. I can see what he's trying to do, but it didn't work, did it? And then I think we moved him central when Odegaard came in, didn't we? Kudus went back into being more central.
He went to the 10,
Yeah, so he played in, three positions in the game. But I think what I'll take from that part is that obviously he's got to try and work out this front line until we have some striker options available, like genuine that is their position. Like,
ironically, we've got 3 strikers, and Richarlison's the only one that can stay fit.
I mean, that's it. When I said at the start of the season, when you're going into a season, and this was before Muani came in, but now Muani's injured, ironically. When you're going into a season and Richarlison is your fittest striker, you have an issue at striker.
But we have 3. So it's not like yes, you're right, we need to get them fit and we need to have them available. But like, I don't see the striker position as a massive issue right now. Like right now it is only because, right now it is because we only have Richarlison fit. But like in terms of a squad wise, we have 3 strikers there. All of them, in theory, should be able to score goals.
Yep.
All of them offer something a bit different as well. So I'm not too worried about that situation.
I genuinely, and I keep saying it, I genuinely think with Solanke in this team, he'll bang the goals in. I really am confident. I feel that he will get the goals because the one thing he was craving last season was supply. And he was dropping so deep and holding the ball up and doing everything, and he was never in the box. And even when he was in the box, the quality that we had available to put in quality was very, very sparse. Well, now he's going to have an added Kudus, an added Xavi Simmons, and obviously they're going to have the protective midfield in Palinia so they can go express themselves a bit more. And I genuinely think Solanke could bang the goals in this team, but it's again keeping him fit. Muani, we're yet to see, but he scored goals wherever he goes. And I agree with you. Right now, it's an issue because we've only got the one. Although Scarlett's sitting on the bench.
And not being used,
Yeah. But hopefully, Muani, I don't even know who's going to be back first, Muani or Solanke, but we definitely need one of them back. If not ready for Leeds, then as soon as after the international break, we need them.
What was it like in the ground, you know, as we were pushing, as the second half was going on as it was, and was it growing frustration? Was there fans not being happy, or was there encouragement? What was the kind of general feeling?
All of the above. all of the above. The first half, it was great atmosphere. Everyone put it together. Everything was going good. The one thing that we're going mad about was the referee, and mainly with the referee, who was very, very poor. But the one
had a penalty really for that Richarlison one, really, when he was dragged down.
Yep. But the one thing that I don't think we've seen it since the Burnley goalkeeper gave away a corner to us in the first game. The Wolves keeper had the ball for about 15 seconds, and this 8-second rule has been very quickly forgotten about. So that was ridiculous. But in the second half, when we came out, you could see the dissatisfaction growing, and a lot of it was why is it always Wolves? Why can we not get this job done with them? And then it was growing into the performance, and then it was like, here we go, we've missed another opportunity. And then obviously the goal came. And what a goal.
Fair play is a brilliant goal, isn't it?
I mean, first of all, the ball being fizzed, it's a great layoff from Sarr. It's a fantastic layoff for Sarr. The way the ball was like literally fizzed at him. But what a great finish from a player that's a number 6 isn't normally known for having that nice side foot, mate. It was an incredible finish. Incredible.
On the half volley, I think, wasn't it?
It was incredible.
Guided it into the corner. Was the celebrations in the crowd as crazy as Palinia's celebrations?
I wouldn't go that far. But a lot of people saying in the ground, I'm sure you spoke about it, when you and I were at the Great Leicester game with Bergwijn, as soon as that equaliser got in, Bergwijn grabbed the ball, ran to the centre, play going. The emotions obviously got to it. He got the booking. But there was time to get another one. Was it a talking point, the fact that he ran, took his shot off? Was it a bit of an over-celebration? I think, do you know what? When everyone started celebrating, you're just jumping up. You don't for that split
you're
second.
Not even looking,
and then I think on the walk back, it started to hit.
On the wall, where did you go?
No, on the walk back to the halfway line.
The players. I thought you jumped.
No. I jumped into the east stand.
While I was making my way back.
I was crowd surfed all the way over. But as it was coming back, it's like, come on, let's get. And then you realise that time's been killed. Or momentum, whatever you want to say. But yeah, it was an incredible finish. I tell you what, watching Palinia live is a great watch.
And to be fair, and whatever you want to say about how bad we were, and we were bad, and based off, the second half display, we didn't deserve anything, and we ended up obviously getting the equaliser. Credit to the team and for not losing belief that we could, I guess,
Yep.
get that equaliser. So I guess that deserves a little bit of credit.
Well, you look at the last 2 games. I think in previous years gone by,
equalisers are both, right?
and you would have thought in previous years and previous managers, that would have been a defeat. I think the last time we're scoring, obviously we did it with Conte, with Manchester City and Leicester, but I think it was with
Sheffield
Poch.
United.
But I think it was Poch where it became a regular part of our game, wasn't it? Like because of his fitness regime. To show that we're not out of it till we're out of it. It's definitely 2 points dropped rather than 1 point. I'm sorry, 1 point gained rather than 2 points dropped because of the situation we were and getting that late equaliser. But to just know that we can get that and don't fully give up is something to grab hold. If there's anything to grab hold onto after this game, is that we got we saw it through and got or didn't give up and got that first goal. Sorry.
Yeah, and obviously that was a bit of a positive in a day where majorly frustrating in terms of the level of performance. But in the end of the day, we ended the game in third. The draw took us to third in the league.
Yep.
So as frustrated as we are with the performance yesterday and the missed opportunity to go second or whatever, it's one of those ways. It's a learning curve. I think at the end of the day, Frank is only 6 games into his job at Spurs. He's still learning about his team. He's still learning about the players in the squad. And yesterday we came up against a challenge that a kind of a new kind of challenge here, a team changing to a back three mid-game and how we responded to that. I'm sure Frank will look at that and he'll learn lessons from it. Okay, they went to a back three. We responded in this way. It didn't work. Next time we play a team who plays back three, we'll do this instead of that, and we'll change it. And that's obviously things he's got to learn and he's got to understand. Because actually, I'm trying to think, all the games we've played, have we played anyone who played a back three? I don't think so. I think all the teams we've played so far have not been a back three.
I think so.
So that's the first time, potentially, we played against a team who went back three.
Yep.
So I know it's, it should be something that Frank is used to. It shouldn't be a massive challenge for him because he knows the back three system himself.
Yep. But
that's just another learning curve, and he's just got to come away from it and learn from it.
Exactly. And then you look at it this week, he gets the opportunity to right it straight away. Go get 3 points in Bodo. Take a 100% record into the Champions League for the next round. Get a win against Leeds. All is forgiven.
But is there any I agree with you. And obviously this isn't about Frank not doing a good job or anything. I think he's doing fine at the moment. But was there any, like, off the back of yesterday, off the back of what we saw against Bournemouth as well, in the second half today was yesterday was quite similar. Mm-hmm. Is there a bit of concern, like, okay, same thing happened again, we were really a bit of a shit show, like, why did it happen again, kind of thing?
Where I was, no. Mm-hmm. And I bumped into a lot of people after the game that I hadn't seen before the game or had recognised me from your channel, my channel, and was speaking. He was like, Joe, what? I'm so happy with Thomas Frank's got it wrong today, but I'm delighted we've got him. I can see what we're going to do. Anyone that's getting disgruntled, I mean, again, what I can't stand is how social media reacts to it, and the Frank out. I saw it 6 games.
I didn't see much of that.
6 games, and people are like, yeah, this manager can't do nothing. Get him out. He's gone. And it's madness after 6 games.
Yeah, I don't think that's
madness.
I don't think that's
but that's what social media does. They just they go festering and they go looking for bites. It was just insane. It's just 6 games in. I still think to this day he hasn't had his perfect 11 out. Mm-hmm. And we're still sitting not only top half of the table, but at the moment, I know it's early days, we're in the top 4. I don't know if that changes if results go our way, or if Newcastle win today, they don't go above us or anything, do they?
Arsenal obviously can.
Yeah, Arsenal. Yeah. And we're going to go into the international break, hopefully around that top 4 place, which is obviously a great place to be.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
a lot of people said if I would have offered you 4th at the beginning of the season, obviously everyone's loving that.
Exactly. So he's got some work to do. He's got some learning to do. But like you said, the thing I will take from it is he will learn from this.
Mm-hmm.
He will adjust to this. He'll be, if you watched the videos on him before he came, he'll be in the ground today with the analysis team, going over this with a fine-tooth comb, saying, right, what have I done wrong here? What have we done wrong? What players done wrong? Let's fix this. And we go again and prepare for Bodo and Leeds this coming week.
All right, well, that is the match reaction or match review of the game yesterday.